Welcome to Tent Talk, the podcast with Nancy McCready, where we talk about life under the big tent of God's presence and the provoking process of discipleship. Here we go.
We have to get over ourselves in a really big way. I used to want to just, never have to be the front person, never have to do any of those things. Just let me do what God's put within me to do. But then you get over yourself and you realize, wait just a minute. This isn't about me. This isn't about, trying to, stay out of the limelight. Is that you realize if the message is going to get out, then a messenger has to be sent. And you get over yourself and you realize, wait just a minute. If a part of the assignment is also being the greatest advocate for how it gets done, when it will get done, the means by which it will be accomplished, then you say, okay, let me step forward and let me do that. And the reason I'm sharing this today on Giving Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, as we launch out our end-of-year giving campaign here at NMM, is one of the reasons is because I do want to be forthright. I do want to be very clear. We do have to look at things in both dimensions, in the supernatural and in the natural, because God lives in both, and we live in both dimensions, and they need to be able to move together in cleanness and strength. But I also want to provoke many of you to begin to think about how are you going to go forward in the assignment that God has put in you. How will that happen? Whether by collaboration, you're going to walk alongside other people, but to be those who are willing to say, Father, whatever you've put inside of me, as I mature, then I want what's in me to mature. It's inevitable, my friends. It's inevitable. And here on Tent Talk, the podcast of Nancy McCready Ministries, it is part of my heart as we get ready. We're about to celebrate a full 6 years of the podcast here in January of 2025. It marks the end of 6 years of just simply, consistently putting forward the message of the gospel. The message of discipleship is sonship. Really telling the truth of what that involves and what that requires, and the privilege of being able to live as we were meant to live in full dependency upon the Father. It's my heart to see other podcasts, other means of mature communication be birthed. We do not want to be those who limit what the Father has put within us. We also don't want to be just simply self-starters out there doing things that God never told us to do. But if you are someone that God is working in, then He wants to work through, and you and He in your oneness means that you simply pass on this life. We don't want to make it complicated, and it isn't, my friends. I'm sitting here in the early morning hours today, on Tuesday, December 3rd, in my office with my phone and a microphone on a tripod, and we're recording. And then I have someone, my wonderful assistant, Lorena, who will take it, and in very short time, she will literally release it, and it will be able to go across the nations. My friends, that is not that difficult. Now, this is my part, and then she does her part, and then you're listening, that's your part, right? But if we are not consistent in releasing truth and the message, and we're not allowing God to mature us and provoke us forward, I'm not sure what would we have to say. But it must be done consistently. There must be a trust that is built. And so it is a listener-supported podcast, meaning it's one of the many ways here at Nancy McCready Ministries that we are provoking others with the message, with mentoring, with discipleship, with groundbreaking Oxford-style colleges that we are about to birth and release and open in 2025, and many other ways. There are so many layers just as we live out our life that this message goes forth. But as people give and sow into NMM, then we are able to do everything that God gives us to do. And there came a point in my life where I said, why would I be ashamed or apologize for giving people the opportunity to sow into that? They become supply lines to us on the front lines of our assignment, but really then we turn around and we are supply lines to those who are on the front lines in their nations. And right now, there are people, producers that I have mentored, I have trained, and continue to be a part of walking alongside them as they are literally doors into their nations. This has to have a very real, organic way of actually going forward. This is not busy work. This is not just something that we do because it's some ministry career ladder that we're on. It is truly on assignment, and it evolves and it deepens and it widens and expands as we go and as we stay with Him so that it can unfold in the lives of those that we are meant to see rise up and to mature and take their place in the nations and in the states of the USA. And this is what is happening, whether people are leading full-blown organizations, churches, or they are one person who has determined that whatever is in front of them, they're going to release this message right there. That might be the small group that they lead within their church in North Carolina. It might be someone leading a leadership initiative in the church where they serve in Florida. It might be a full-blown ministry and church in Iowa that has discipleship houses for men coming out of incarceration and addiction and seeing their lives put back on the course, right, of really knowing the Father and becoming productive within their lives and in their families. And it might be on the front lines in the United Kingdom, which is about to break into the full British Isles, which is 5 full nations. It's England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Ireland. But right now, people who are weekly pouring this message into maybe 20, 30, 40 people from that whole area on the coastal region of England. And it might be someone who is mentoring people in the south of Poland. I mean, all of this is happening, my friends. And in Germany and in major regions of Paraguay, right now, in real time today, we've just dropped a new conversation. It's our YouTube Tent Talk Conversations. And you can go there, subscribe to our channel, and you can hear Bernardo Schmidt, one of our NMM producers, who has just returned from Paraguay and watching Cross Encounter open up new regions and then meeting with government officials because, my friends, this is about getting out into all spheres of culture. God is on the move, and He's the one with the plan, and we're discovering that plan, and we're stepping in with Him. These are not just our ideas that we're coming up with. So when you support NMM as a listener here on Tent Talk, those funds are making it possible for me. Let me just start out and be very clear. That makes it possible for me to do this work full time. I am the only employee of NMM. And that makes it possible for me to make this my full-time work. So that whether that's recording podcasts and getting the message out, if that is mentoring producers from all over the world, right here in my office on Zoom sessions every week, pouring into them, walking with them as they seek the Father, if it's conducting schools, if it is the strategizing and the time that it takes to oversee all the operations, to make a place for people here in the ministry house to be able to come in and out as they need, then that is what I'm able to do as a full-time person here at NMM. And then I have those that are on contract with me that as we very slowly expand our infrastructure and operations, we've done that over the last 2 or 3 years, then I have 2 people that are on contract with me. Lorena, who works full-time. She is my full-time virtual assistant, and everything that you see on social media, emails that are sent out, creative things, many in-house operations she's able to do from the Philippines. She and I have worked together now, must be 3-4 years together. And that is an amazing blessing. But listen, it's gotten beyond me and gotten beyond Lorena. We're about to hit our capacity points, and now we need to become those that are a part of overseeing a growing team of people. I am not interested in bringing on more employees because I don't want the overhead to become a burden. I want it to be fully functional and as lean and strong as it can be. That's why we do more contract work. And those are folks that have their own business. So we have someone who is also a media and communications contract person with us. And they do the work here on Tent Talk Podcast of creating all the descriptions and the captions and the study guides and helping on the website and doing all of that so that these are things that help streamline everything. Now, I hope you're not getting bored right now, okay? Because I want you to understand the guts of all of this that produces the glory of all of this, that this is real work, day in and day out, full time. This isn't something I do occasionally. This is the full-time work, but it has reached now the point, and where it's about to go in 2025, the infrastructure and the operations and the contract folks that I believe will be self-funded and we will be a part of their support, is that there are people that are ready to bring their skill sets who are also the full beneficiaries of the work of NMM. They've been mentored and trained, and they want to be a part of seeing this work go forward in the nations. They may even end up being people that will be liaisons that I can send out who will be a part of being an extension of me to the producers in the nations because they want to begin to raise up in that way and take this work further. I've never meant for this work to remain just in me. I've always known I would be a producer of producers, and this work, that really the more hidden I become, the further this work can reach and go, because I do the things that are really igniting people to take their places. And if you can't see the importance of whether you lead a small group in your church and you see this message go forward, or if you lead, a multi, faceted organization, it's all key and important. And I'm not just saying that, it really is. And that means that if we can get beyond ourselves, this is how I started this out today. We must get beyond ourselves. My friends, it's in us, but it is beyond us. And this is a part of when we go back into the ground. I've put NMM in the ground again and said, Father, you bring it up in the form that you mean for it to be as we continuously and organically go forward with you. And so that's part of what's happening. But I want to see it happening through all of you, where whatever the nation, and when we consistently come up with reasons why it can't happen, you may be listening and say, oh, Nancy, my English is not that great. I'm in another nation. It's like, well, don't you know that we have people in those nations, or we can have people in those nations that will help this to happen through translation, through, all of these things. God has a way. The only thing we have to make absolutely certain of is that it is Him, not just good ideas that we're coming up with. I'm not interested in busy work. We're on assignment, and I want to provoke others to live in that same way. Don't do busy work. Don't find your significance in ministry. You are a son to the Father, and He's written a word over you. And Ephesians 2:10 says that He's created good works beforehand for you and He to carry out together. We want to discern those things. We want to pour into people. We want to help ignite them. We want to support them. We want to send them out with strength and with clarity and with sharpness and soberness. And that means people that are willing to allow themselves to be challenged and prepared in such a way. That's why we're in the groundbreaking preparation of Oxford-style environments of learning, colleges of learning that we are building right now, slowly but surely, and we'll be flinging those doors open in the very near future, because we understand that there's a preparation work that has to go on. But then let's get out and let's begin to learn and do it. But the key is it the Father? And if it is, my friends, then He has the full provision for you. I shared on a live that I did yesterday on the Producer's Way Facebook group that we don't want wilderness miracles. Okay, I don't want wilderness miracles, because I plan on my shoes wearing out. Yeah, what a miracle in the wilderness. Their shoes didn't wear out. There was manna every day. I know, because they were walking in circles. They were wandering in the wilderness, even though the scripture says it was only an 11-day journey. My, it's like you could just look up and couldn't you see it? Just run towards it if it was only an 11-day journey, right? But 40 years they wandered in the wilderness. So I do thank God for His goodness and mercy to them and those miracles of provision. But my friends, we're into the promised land provision. Like we're gonna make the journey and continue into that which the Father has already secured. Jesus has already fully provided. It's all there for the taking for those who will believe that God delights in us as His sons, and He says, go forward, do as I tell you, be who you are to me and to your generation. Take hold of the provision, be willing to live in whatever means necessary, and continue on in your oneness with me. Let's go. Holy shift. Let's move together with Him. He is on the move, and we are moving with Him. I don't need slogans. I don't need new we're in the long-range plan of the Father, and it's the same as He wrote down before the foundations of the world. We are the ones discovering it at new depths, but it's always been there. He created the end before the beginning, and He's come back to get us and to walk us into it. Be ignited today by Holy Spirit. Not by some motivational slogan-wielding person who's just trying to, separate you and your money. My friends, we are investing. We're encouraging you to invest. And then we turn around and invest in ways that will take you further, right, and deeper with Him. So this is why it's so key. So I'm deciding today, yesterday I did it on, let me finish my thought there on the promised land. My friends, as my shoes are wearing out because we're going in and taking territory and we're moving forward. How about you? right? Don't believe just for wilderness provision, wilderness miracles, because you're wandering in circles, going nowhere. No, it's time to step forward and say, wait a minute, if God has provided people like Nancy and others, trust me, I've got others coming alongside me, shoulder to shoulder. We're ready. We're poised. We have been allowing God to challenge and prepare us so that we can be sharp in our collaboration and partnership with you. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. He puts us together in these ways so that we can be of great help to one another. So yesterday, I got really bold, and I said on the live, on the Producer's Way, some of the same things that I'm sharing here. But I want to say here for those who listen, I am in faith for $100,000 US. I mean, I'm open to more. I won't be embarrassed if there's less. I'm not worried about these things. I'm not going to be worried about coming up short. I'm not worried about being embarrassed. I'm not worried about these things anymore. But I know for certain that I have an $88,000 plan. I bumped it up to $100K. But my friends, that's in addition to what already comes into NMM. This is for the new expansion, purely for the new expansion, above and beyond what already comes in through our amazing producing partners here at NMM. This is $100,000 US for the expansion of what we're doing. Because to bring on 4 new contract folks who will help us to build for the future, oversee operations, to actually be a part of the services, what we do every single day, and some of the things that I might not even see yet. Literally someone who would be a scribe that would help get out the books and to do the things that we're going to be doing to get discipleship resources, materials, all of that into the hands of those producers in those nations. So, and you can see all of this on the giving page on our website. Just go to nancymccready.com and click it. But if I were to bring on and expand our team, because if you don't have the right people in the right places, it's like pouring 20,000 square feet of concrete to build a new building. My friends, do you know what you can do with 4 people who each bring 20,000, square feet of production, right? You've got to have the right people with the right skills, with the right heart, who are beneficiaries of this work, that understand what we're doing at a depth that isn't going to happen if it's just people that you go out and randomly bring on. These are people that come out of the work, and they are going to be, I pray, self-funded producers like I am. I'm a self-funded, which means I raise my own funds and do the labor and the work to see that happen so that it goes forward, because we are a nonprofit. And so they would contract and be a part. But to have 4 of those would be a minimum $12,000 each, means that we are not their full support, but we would be a part of the support that they raise. That would be $48,000 right there. If I produce 5 mentoring books this year, that would be about $10,000. And if we break open and make inaugural trips into just 3 nations, we already are scheduled in March to go into the full British Isles. And then I'm looking at 2 others that I can see on the horizon. I'm not going to speak of them because I'm not certain yet, but I'm going to go ahead and project 3 inaugural trips. That's $10,000 each trip, because we always go in together. Someone from my board and I always go in. We did this last year in March when we went into England. Now we're looking to go back into England, but into the whole British Isles. So that requires 2 air tickets. That requires the expenses to be there, because if it's one person in a nation that says, I will host a cross encounter, I will be the contact person, and yet They are one person. They are not some great organization that has all their funds together. They will eventually as God builds, but we need to be ready to invest in that producer. And these are producers I've walked with for a time. These are not just strangers that I meet or somebody that just says, hey, I've got something I want to do. These are developed people who are willing to take the intelligent risk of going with God and to take the responsibility to host. And then we walk that through. So that it takes a good $10,000 just to do one inaugural trip in other nations. So if we bring on 4 new team members, that could be $48,000. 5 books, that's $10,000. 3 nations, that would be $30,000. Then that's $88,000 right there. That's new things. That's not our existing budgets and our existing operations. That's new going into 2025 and beyond. Because God has given me a 2-year window to go into this new groundbreaking expansion. And so that's just a little bit of it. And I felt that it was okay. And I might continue as I get bolder and clearer, because why ask for that kind of money, my friends, for people to partner with you and collaborate with you if you don't have the specifics of what that, revenue coming in to the nonprofit, to what you would do with it. You have to be able to say to people, this is where we're at, this is what we're looking for. And then I will be able then to release those resources, those people in those nations and in the US of A, to be able to come alongside and say, let's labor together. God has a plan, and we believe that we're discovering that as we go. So I wanted to share this with you today. On Giving Tuesday, it launches. We're dropping it today. But then to listen to it, and we're going to drop it periodically throughout December for our end-of-year giving campaign, because it is statistics show that nonprofits receive at the end of the year their greatest contributions, because people are looking to give. They're looking for where they can give their end-of-year giving and before December 31st. So we're going to stand in that. And those last 3 days of December, you will be amazed, is when oftentimes the greatest portions of this come in as people make those final decisions to where their finances will be best sown, best stewarded, and produce the most fruit. And we would say, please consider Nancy McCready Ministries. This is a podcast episode that you would be able to take and share with others that you may want them to know about NMM and about Tent Talk. So go today. Check out all the giving links. Go to the website. Educate yourself on what NMM is doing. Send me an email if you have questions, nancy@nancymccready.com, all through this month of December. If you want more information, just let me know. But we want you to check out the YouTube conversations. They're going to drop these next 3 Tuesdays, December 3rd, December 10th, and December 17th. We are going to be dropping YouTube conversations that I've had with some of our major producing partners in the nations. And we want you to know who we're working with. We want you to be very clear about this and for us to collaborate and partner together as we go forward. So I pray that this has been helpful, and trust me, I'm sharing with you still the bare bones of all of this, my friends. The Word tells us very clearly that people must hear the truth, and how will that happen if someone does not tell them? And how can people tell them if they are not sent out? We want to be a part of those who are sent, and that we are becoming a sending hub, if you will, that we are bringing in folks and they are getting trained. I've got things planned for January and February of 2025. We have people coming in to live here with us and train with us for 2 full months, some of them 1 month. And so these are huge undertakings. And we know that it's God's way and God will supply. And if you are a part of that supply line to us, we say, do it. Sow, invest, give, and you will see the producing fruit of it in the lives of people who will then go live on the front lines of their assignment. And this is very tangible. This is what you can get your hands on. So I want to thank you in advance for your consideration and for your investment here at NMM, and hope that you'll be proud to pass this on to friends, to leaders, to other people that you know, and that they will definitely check us out and become partners with us also as we prepare very strongly for 2025. In March, we will take an inaugural trip again into Portsmouth, England, and from there break into the British Isles. I will go in, whether it is to have a dinner and a conversation or to have meetings or whatever, on whatever level the doors open, then we will go into Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Ireland. We actually already have a work that is produced through our partners out of Poland in Ireland, but I have not yet been myself and hope to do that in the month of March. And then we're going to come right back here into Texas and have a groundbreaking cross encounter in the north of Houston, April 3rd through the 5th. But literally beyond April 5th, at this moment, as I record this, I do not know what will be the next steps, because we're staying with God in real time, and we are getting, what is He telling us to do? What are the next steps? And so we are looking at what that will mean then for the remainder of 2025. But we've got to get people in the right positions, ready to take this to tremendous, tremendous expansion, far beyond me. Oh, how glad I am about that. I'll oversee it, but it's going to be far beyond me and into others in the nations and the USA. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this as a very serious partner with us. See, those who are serious understand that listening and hearing and asking and pursuing is a vital part of discipleship. So we're going to mature sons, provoke the church into her new wineskins, and we are going to disciple nations, my friends, for the Father, for the Son, and Holy Spirit. And this is our honor and our privilege to serve your life and your destiny with the Father here at Nancy McCready Ministries. And remember, Tent Talk is the podcast of Nancy McCready Ministries, and I'm in big faith for many other podcasts to be birthed out of Tent Talk. So here we go, my friends. Love you all. Until next time. Before you go, consider being a giver, a world-class giver to Nancy McCready Ministries. You will find the giving link in the show notes. I thank you so much for being here with us during this very, very strong giving season. It is time for those who sense that urging to step forward with us here at Nancy McCready Ministries. Thank you so much. Also consider subscribing to our YouTube channel so that you can go and watch the producers that are with us here at NMM in our conversations over on YouTube during the month of December. Love you all. Thank you in advance for your generous giving to NMM.